You are live. All right.
Hi. So this is spring 2022 and it's week 6 and the topic today is core. So as indicated in the update, you can really increase efficiency in both walking and running and decrease the risk of injury if your core is more engaged, if you have a strong core. Also, coming from a background of occupational therapy and teaching body mechanics, office ergonomics, postural awareness, a strong core is also going to help you in everyday functional activities, like opening and closing heavy doors, getting in and out of your car or pickup, doing groceries, yard work, and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really going to help, not to mention help with your posture. So here we go. There's a lot of awesome information in the update from this week to supplement what I'm going to talk about tonight. And we're going to start right off the bat with some classic curl-ups. So here we go. You can have, I like to have my arms like this, and I'm just going to really engage that core. Press my my stomach to the floor, and so my low back is flat on the floor, and I'm going to curl my head and shoulders up like this, okay? Curl the head and shoulders up like this. So I'm really working the upper abs, breathing. Okay, that's a more gentle way because the lower back is flat on the floor. You're just curling your head up. If you want to support your head a little bit more, you can go ahead and do this as long as you don't have any shoulder issues. But you're still going to curl your head and shoulders up like that. The advanced method of doing that one is instead of focusing your eyes here, you're going to focus your eyes straight up to the ceiling. So again, now I'm working more of the lower abs. I'm still tightening, I'm not only tightening my tummy muscles and keeping my low back flat on the floor, I'm tightening my butt muscles, I'm tightening everything down there to really, really lock in and stabilize my whole spinal area. And that's one of the ways that you can minimize any risk of hurting your back, is to really lock in that lumbar, and that's the low back area, okay? So those are classic curl-ups. Now, penguins, I'm going to go side to side, and that's a little more gentle. So that's going to be like this. Okay, so I'm kind of flat on the floor. The more advanced form is the obliques, where I'm going to reach up, shoulder to opposite knee. That's going to be a little more challenging. Okay, next I'm going to go right to the dying bug. I'm going to do the dying bug with the legs, one leg supported at each time. That's the more gentle method. Okay, so the arms are going to go just like this. And then I'm going to enter in one leg at a time. And that's the more gentle method because one leg's always supported. The more advanced method of the dying bug is both arms and legs unsupported. And once again, tighten those tummy muscles, press that low back flat to the floor, start slowly, increase gradually, don't hold your breath, keep breathing. And also, some people, you can see how I'm doing this arm and leg together, the opposite arm and leg apart. You can do it that way, or you can alternate it so you're reciprocal like this. Either way works. I've seen both. The way that works the best is the way that you actually do it, right? Okay, the next one. So that was dying bug, bridges. So the basic bridge is going to be like this. You can hold it there for 10 seconds or 5 seconds, tighten your butt, or you can do repetition like this. Okay? And then the more advanced form of the bridges is baby little marches like this. And so you still want to try and keep your core nice and tight. Okay? Or you can do leg ups like this, leg raises. Okay? So gentle or a little more advanced, okay? Moving right along to the plank. Okay, so the plank can be on your forearms, or like this, or up on your hands. Okay, whichever method you do, start slowly, maybe just 5 seconds. Maybe 5 seconds in the more gentle form, which would be maybe like this. Or you could even do a plank leaning up against a counter. So you could be standing, leaning against a counter and doing a more modified, gentle form of a plank that way. Okay, so start slowly, increase gradually, no back pain, no neck pain, no shoulder pain. Just kind of start with baby steps and increase from there. Okay, so that's plank. Side leg lifts. Okay, so again, you could start like this. So this is a leg lift. Okay, this would be a more gentle method because I'm down on this knee. A more advanced one would be like this. And then raising your leg up, which I'm not even going to do right now. Okay. And then a seated clam. Now that is one that I will ask you to raise that. And let's see. Can you, Allison, can you get that stool that's right there behind the counter, please? Right, yeah, there, thanks. So this one might be a new one for some of you. And remember that the core isn't just here. The core involves your whole middle section here. It involves your hips. It involves your glutes, your butt. It involves your back, all of that stuff. So this one here is where you sit on the, I'm just barely kind of sitting on the edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my heels together. I'm going to press my heels together, and I'm going to tighten my butt muscles, squeeze those butt muscles together, and I'm going to count. I've worked up to where I can do it 30 seconds 3 times. But you don't want to start there, I guarantee you. If you haven't done this, you want to start with maybe 10 seconds and then take a break. Okay? So that one also is going to, thanks, Allison. Okay, now, back down here. So, when do you do core? Okay? Sometimes people ask, just like last week when we did trigger point and rolling out. When do you do trigger point and rolling out? How do you mix in core with rolling out and stretching with your walking homework, running homework, chores, job, babysitting? How do you put it all together? How do you prioritize what's important? That sometimes is a challenge for as busy as we are, right? You either got kids, or you got, even if you're retired, you have grandkids, or you have work, or parents. Thank you. Everybody has something that is a priority. What I honor and respect and am grateful for is that by virtue of you all being here tonight, you are prioritizing exercise, okay? And sometimes it's enough just to get your aerobic exercise in, which is the walking and running homework, right? So to add this extra stuff on, I fully acknowledge is extra. And how do you put it in there? Nonetheless, I'm still gonna keep it in the presentation for the whole Princess Steps Women's Clinic for those of you that do have that extra time or do want to, make that extra effort to improve your efficiency or to decrease the risk of injury or to hit a faster time. Oftentimes people say, I want to get better, I want to get faster, what do I have to do? Well, are you doing your homework? That's probably the first thing, is the aerobic part, which is your walking homework, your running homework. That's probably the first thing to prioritize, and to be consistent with that, okay? So if you do have extra time to do the rolling out or to do this core work, awesome. Like bonus, right? But I fully acknowledge and am aware, and I'm just putting it out there, that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you need a day where you just go home and become part of the couch. How many of us have had those days? I have. There's no more bandwidth there. There's nothing left. There's just nothing left, and you got to give yourself that little bit of grace. But I will tell you this. I always feel better when I get out the door and get my walk or my run in or get my spin on the bike. Always feel better. You get that oxygen. There's not a single time I didn't feel better for getting out there. Does it sometimes have to be modified? Yes. Sometimes I have to go to slower effort. Sometimes I have to go a little shorter. Sometimes I'll count yard work. Or something, I'll count it, because it's pretty aerobic, really. So modifying things is fine. There's nothing wrong with modifying it. But please remember to do something. Do something and feel awesome about it. And then if you do get the core work in, or you get that rolling out, or you get any of that extra stuff, then feel really awesome about that too, that you got bonus in. You got some bonus minutes of commitment and taking care of yourself and setting an example and just feeling really, really good about it. Okay? Question?
Sometimes, not that I have this much time in my life, but unless I do something every day, I'm not making it a habit. I'm not remembering to do it. Can you do the core every day? Assuming we have that much time in our life.
Absolutely. The question and the comment is, sometimes it's hard to do it unless you get into a habit, right, Terry?
Exactly.
And so, can you do it every day? Yes, you can do it every day, but I will say this. Be careful in terms of your intensity or your effort. It's just like you can walk every day.
Right.
You just want to be careful that you're not going hard every day. So it's kind of like the recovery days. When I say this is an easy day, it's a recovery day. We all need recovery days. So maybe sometimes you might do it for 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes. Or sometimes do it a little bit, in the kitchen when you're on the phone, or that type of thing. Get creative about how you do it. But the question, can you do core every day? Sure, you can do core every day. Absolutely. Just be careful how, so you don't overdo it.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions?
For people who struggle with pelvic floor, I've heard that doing traditional core work is not great if you're working on improving your pelvic floor. Do you have any comment about that?
I would say if you have a very specific question about your pelvic area,
PT.
Go to physical therapy and go to a specialty area like pelvic. Help me out. Anybody remember the name?
Pelvic health.
Bonnie.
Yeah, pelvic health. Bonnie.
Bonnie's amazing.
Bonnie's amazing. The pelvic health that I'm thinking of, periodically they will come here to Princess Steps and do a presentation on urinary incontinence with walking and running and talk about pelvic floor. It's informative, it's humorous, it's wonderful. So if you have a concern about core work being contraindicated, or if you're compromised doing it because of your pelvic condition, by all means, either check with your doctor or check with pelvic physical therapists who are specializing in that area.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, I'll post a picture of her business card on the Facebook page.
Okay,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah,
Send
and
it
that's
to me,
great because
please.
she has their company is very supportive of what we do. It's very pelvic health, and urinary incontinence is an extremely common condition that isn't talked a lot about, but it's one of the most popular ones here. And there's so much stuff to talk about in Princess Steps. I can't have the same awesome topics every single time. That reminds me about a cardiologist, Kevin Thompson, who has spoken here before. Just a funny side thing. He came in last Saturday wearing North Carolina t-shirt. And so it was North Carolina who Kansas was playing. So, but he's the cardiologist. So that was kind of fun. Any other questions?
No. Oh, we were.
Okay. Question.
My question was about the trigger point or the rolling out last week. How, like, if you have, I don't know, like a shin splint or something, how long can you roll out before you get that release? Because I was trying to get a release. I was like, but I didn't. Do I just do it over and over?
Yeah. How long can you roll out? Trying to roll out. Were you rolling the front of your?
No, the back.
The back?
Yeah.
Well, for shin splints, you would want to actually roll the front.
No, I know.
Yeah, but how long? No. So the question is, how long do you roll out? It depends on how intense the area is, how tight it is, and how intense it is. You may not need to roll it out more than 20 or 30 seconds, depending on where you're rolling, how you're rolling, and that kind of thing. There are other techniques specifically for shin splints that I'm happy to show you one-on-one. They weren't ones that I did, but it's basically using the little trigger point ball in the front. Yeah, there's some pretty awesome techniques for that. Yeah. Okay, any other question? Okay, I'm going to sign off for now, and we'll see you next week. And the topic next week is safety, and so leaders, be prepared. You're going to be helping me out next week.